Hello Gemini, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of December 18th through 24th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now we're going to see what messages are coming through. What is it that you need to know? What is the fight of your life that's coming? What is the biggest challenge, the biggest obstacle before you at this time? What is the energy? See a 10 of Wands. Okay. All right, well, interesting way to start. Let's put that into some context. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread, as we usually do. And that is going to include a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, whatever you want to call it. We're going to leave that right here. We're not going to look at that until the very end of the reading, so please stick around to the end of the video. Hopefully that card will, tie the reading together or give us the confirmation that we're looking for at the very end, okay? So right away I noticed that we have a court card from all four suits. So that is going to be an interesting, possibly an interesting group of people or an interesting expression of your kind of elemental energies, right? And then what else do we see? We see some water, some fire, some water, some earth, a little bit of air. We'll get to the air in just a moment. But first I want to address this 10 of Wands. This, I think, is primarily manifesting as just some exhaustion, some fatigue. I think that you are perhaps feeling a little bit run down at the moment. Okay, I think this week really is seeing you just a little bit drained, right? A little bit fatigued. I think you've been working very hard. I think there's been a lot going on in your life, which is kind of an obvious thing to say, right? Because it is the end of the year, the holidays. So I think we're all pretty busy. But I think you're feeling it in particular. And I think it could be really through your striving to make sure everyone else is having a good time, right? I'm getting this feeling like you're the type of person that really likes to create opportunities for other people to enjoy their time with you. Does that make sense? You love getting people together. You love seeing other people experience joy and pleasure and happiness. You love seeing people have a good time. But I think, with the recent past as well being this Earth card, this Prince of Discs or Pentacles, I think this is representing your energy. This is representing, I think, your kind of the last few days for you. I think you've been working really hard. There's been a lot of activity. But it's been mostly activity like on the physical plane, getting things organized, getting things ready, building something, maybe cooking or cleaning, or creating something on the physical plane, right? It could be the end of the year and your business is really in a busy season, right? So you're just working extra hard, either in your employment or in your career, your business, but also on the home front too. Okay, so I really feel like you're doing a lot of work with your hands, right? You're really putting a lot of things together recently, the last few days. And that's leading to some of this 10 of Wands energy, okay? Which is really kind of a lack of energy, or an energy that's been kind of rushing forward so fast and so strong and with such intensity that it's leaving you feel a little bit drained, okay? A little bit fatigued, kind of that body aches, back pain kind of thing that I'm getting. And then with the 3 of Cups here, this is kind of crossing that 10 of Wands today. And I think that this is a symbol of what I mean when I say that you're trying to make other people have a good time. You're trying to create the opportunity, create the environment for other people to enjoy themselves and to enjoy their time with you. Because with the 3 of Cups here, I see that the reason for all of this, or the direction that all of this activity, all of this energy is taking, kind of what it's directed toward, is this 3 of Cups, this celebration, this abundance, really pouring your energy, pouring your kind of love, your water energy onto other people so that they can enjoy themselves, that they can have a pleasurable time, right? So I feel like it's a big celebration kind of, but it's mostly you're doing the work and you want other people to kind of enjoy the fruits of your labors, so to speak. Okay. And that's really all well, fine, and good. I think it's leaving you a little bit tired, a little bit exhausted this week. I think that's pretty much the primary focus is what you've got going on here. The good news is that in the immediate future, we see this lust or strength card. Now, this is a couple of things. One, this is you enjoying yourself too. Okay, so you're creating this environment for other people to have a good time and to spend time with you and enjoy you. But there's going to be a time in the immediate future, right? Once this work is completed, once you maybe get a little bit of rest, that you're going to enjoy things too, right? You're going to be able to participate with everyone else and enjoy the fruits of your own labors, okay? And this strength or lust card, this 11th mystery of the tarot, is also about control, about self-control, about controlling some of this fire energy. Okay, so the Ten of Wands here really is this fiery energy that's kind of unchecked, it's unbalanced, it's just really just full of expression. It's just all activity, it's all forward momentum. There's no control over it. There's no checks or balances, right? There's no speed bumps in this thing. This is just full bore, straight ahead, as fast as you can go. And I think that it was necessary. I think there was a lot for you to do this last week and kind of coming into this week too. And it was all for a really, really good purpose, really good intentions, this real celebration. But this lust, this strength card is really about dialing it back a little bit. Right? Controlling a little bit of that outward expression of energy and activity and keeping a little bit for yourself, right? Not to be so drained of your vital energy that you end up getting an injury or getting sick or just being too dang tired to enjoy all of this, all the results of the work that you've been doing. Okay, so this is really about control of that fire energy. You have this ability, you have this skill, to create this magnificent, whatever it is, this environment, this opportunity for other people to celebrate, whatever kind of realm this is really manifesting in. You have the ability to really create something magnificent, but there's a cost. And that cost, I think, is some of your vital energy. So this is really about learning how to harness that and use it in such a way that instead of being drained of your vitality, it restores your vitality, right? And I think that has a lot to do with some of this water element, some of this watery energy too. This celebration and this is basically saying that, look, you need to kind of enjoy this as well. You need to slow down and rest and allow yourself to experience the pleasure and the joy and the kind of restorative quality of this celebration, this party, this intense activity that you have been undertaking. You need to slow down and enjoy it as well, right? Because you can use that to kind of restore some of this vital energy and get a little bit of that vitality back, right? What we see at the top of the path of the dove is quite interesting too. This is another court card. This is the Prince of Wands. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily another person involved here either. It could be. I'm kind of leaning towards it being a more of an expression of your energy as well. I feel like this is this conscious focus that you have of needing to go so fast, so far, and so quickly, right? This is kind of your haste. This is your impulsiveness. This is that feeling that, oh my God, I've got to get all of this done by, tomorrow night or whatever. And so you're really rushing. You're really just, cup of coffee, staying up as long as you can, getting this thing done, and maybe neglecting yourself a little bit, because the Prince here is the airy quality of the fire, right? So you have this fiery energy, this impulse, this energy, this vitality, right, for the activity, but you're also convincing yourself mentally that it needs to manifest. You need to use every ounce of your energy. You need to basically just rush. You need to get this thing done. It's very kind of frantic. But it's something that in your mind, you're like, well, I have to do this. I have a deadline, etc. I have to get this finished by a certain time, right? So there's a lot of this hectic kind of very, very excited energy that seems like there's an urgency to things, right? And I think this is kind of your conscious energy. I think this is what you are primarily focused on, is this need to rush, this need to hurry up and get things done because the clock is ticking, kind of. Okay. But what I also see on the path of the dove here, and this, at first glance, this is the only kind of air energy that we have, right? So this is underneath the surface. This is the Fool card. The Fool is pure air. All right. So we had a little bit of air with these princes, right? And this is, I think the princes are mainly talking about the kind of, where you're at in your headspace, right? And it's a lot of focus, a lot of like internal dialogue about, okay, I need to do this and this. I need to do step A, step B. I've got to get all of this stuff done. It's kind of a mental checklist that you've got. And this dialogue that you have with yourself that is talking about how to take all of this active, vital energy and create what you need to create, right? And this could be in your professional life, could be in your personal life, it could be at work, it could be at home. Wherever this is manifesting, I think this is kind of the focus. But underneath it all, what is all of this really for? Yeah, it's for the celebration, right? The Three of Cups. That's more of a conscious kind of result or intention behind all of this. But this Fool is underneath the surface. It's what you might really not be acknowledging. I think this is your striving, your eagerness, your readiness to expand your social sphere, let's say, right? I think that you're really trying to not necessarily make a name for yourself, but you're trying to put yourself out there and push your boundaries, right? Because the air is, any kind of a gas will fill whatever container it's in, right? So it's very expansive. And it's always pushing against the boundaries that it has, right? So I feel like you're trying to push the envelope. You're trying to maybe get out of your comfort zone. You're trying to expand your sphere of influence or your social reach in some ways, okay? So I think that the reason for all of this activity, whether you are really acknowledging that or not, or whether that's like a primary conscious goal for you, I think is this sense of expanding your reach, right? Expanding out into some of these more uncomfortable areas, pushing your own limits, trying new things, really pushing yourself to see how much you can grow, how much you can expand, both maybe in the professional world, maybe in your social circle, or just with your own personal skills and abilities, right? You're kind of testing yourself to see how much you can handle. And I feel like that's kind of the challenge this week, right? That's the fight of your life that's coming, is knowing when you've reached enough of a limit or you've pushed the boundary far enough that now you need to dial it back before you really kind of hurt yourself, There's a point there where this activity becomes too conscious, and that's when we end up, making kind of a foolish mistake or a stumble that sets us back, right? So as long as this is kind of flowing from you without a lot of conscious thought, because, like I said, we don't have any real obvious air here. There are no swords cards, okay? So the air that we do have, the intellectual nature of this, what we do have going on in the headspace is really just an intense focus. You're using the momentum and you're planning and you're organizing and you're executing. You're getting things done. But as soon as you stop, if we had some swords energy here, or if we were to put some swords energy into the path of the dove here, this would be like you stopping, becoming more self-aware, more self-conscious, and that's when you would make a stumble, right? So as long as you're in the flow, in the momentum, I think it's going to be all good, but there's still that risk of you completely depleting your vital energy, okay? Well, let's move over to the path of the Serpent now, because this is, got some more interesting energy here. And the first thing is your overall energy, your general kind of ego energy, let's say. 5 of discs. So this is really a lot of movement in the physical realm. And this, we've kind of already saw that here with all of this activity, all of this building, all of this really like putting stuff together with your hands, right? Moving the physical materials around. And that really, I think, is really your primary focus now. I almost wonder why you're taking a break to watch this tarot reading, because I feel like you've got so much still to do, right? I feel like there's still, it's kind of like you have a lot of plates spinning. These 5 discs kind of look like, you know, some plates that are spinning. And if you're familiar with the metaphor, it's kind of difficult to keep them all going. You have to go and spin that one a little bit, while this one, oh, it's slowing down, it's going to fall. You've got to go give that one some attention. And it's just like that nonstop, right? I'm thinking of a cartoon that probably has that imagery in it. So I feel like this is kind of what's going on with you now. And I think that maybe you are taking a little bit of a break right now, and I think that's a good thing. So I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you are hopefully sitting down, hopefully slowing down your breathing, taking some deep breaths, watching this video, and you can get back to it in a few minutes. Okay, I promise I'll make this short. But your general energy, it's one of some worry, anxiety about all of these plates that are spinning. Okay, so there is, it feels like there is still a lot to do. Okay. Or at least I'm feeling that energy from you, because this is your general energy right now. Next is in terms of your relationships with other people, or how you're relating to the situation, right? This is the nature of the relationship. Not the relationship itself, but your experience of it, right? The qualities of that relationship. And this is 7 of Cups. This might be telling me that you're creating all of this opportunity for enjoyment, for pleasure, for the benefit of other people. But in some ways, you're kind of sick of it, right? Or you're kind of like, it's almost like when you work hours in the kitchen, right? Creating a holiday meal or something. You're so tired, you're so exhausted, you're just, you're covered in grease and sweat and whatever, TMI. But by the end of it, you don't even really want to enjoy it, right? Sometimes, and maybe this isn't true for everyone, but I know for me, if I spend so much time in the kitchen, by the time I'm done and the meal is served, I just don't even want to look at it. I just want a break. I'm kind of just disgusted by the whole thing, right? I'm happy that you all are enjoying it. I just need a minute, okay? So I think there's a little bit of that going on. I think you're just so much involved. You're putting so much of your energy into whatever this situation is, that part of you is just like, I don't even want to look at another sweet potato. I don't even want to think about turkey anymore. Something along those lines, right? And this is, I think, how you're kind of relating to this situation that you're doing now. I feel like now it's just the momentum. It's a lot of this fire energy that's manifesting in the earth energy with the activity, the literal moving of the materials around. But in terms of how you feel, I think you just feel like, I'm ready for this to be done, okay? But at the same time, we've got the 3 of Cups. Let's not forget about. This is really, again, you're doing all of this activity, getting these things in order for other people to enjoy. And this really still does give you a lot of joy and pleasure. Seeing other people enjoying themselves, right? And enjoying their time with you. So there is that aspect that I think is still a very powerful force for you. That 3 of Cups is a strong energy. The 7 of Cups here, this is a little bit further down the spectrum of manifestation, right? So this is a little bit closer to the physical realm. And this is just kind of, you have to, in some ways, force yourself to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? When the meal is served, you have to just force yourself to sit down with everyone and partake. And that's when you're going to experience that 3 of Cups, right? So part of this 7 of Cups is overcoming this exhaustion and just this kind of almost disgust now for, like, you don't want to look at another, green bean casserole or whatever. But you're going to do it. You're going to sit down with everyone else and you're going to partake. And that's going to elicit some of that Three of Cups feeling, that real joy and pleasure of being with the ones that you love, right? And again, this could be in a professional setting. This could be something related to work too, okay? I'm using the holiday meal as a metaphor because, well, I think that's what a lot of us are going through at the moment. So this is just a little bit of that lack of pleasure in the actual physical part of it, right? The results kind of thing. But again, Three of Cups, it's really a good, really wonderful card. And again, I think that's like your objective here. You want everybody to have a good time, everybody to enjoy themselves. Now, your fears, worries, and concerns, this Prince of Cups might be another person involved here. This could be a water sign person. I'm feeling like this, maybe there's somebody who you are trying to impress. Maybe this is someone, and maybe not in a romantic way, right? Could be a friend, family member, coworker, maybe a boss, supervisor, whatever, something like that. But someone that you're trying to kind of show them what you're capable of. You're trying to show them what kind of magic you can work, right? I wouldn't be too surprised if this mystery card was the Magus or the Magician, right? The Juggler. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So I do think that there is someone who you're trying to impress and who is difficult to read, right? It's difficult to determine whether or not they're impressed, whether they're enjoying themselves, because they have maybe a bit of a stoic, like outward-facing persona or mask, right? They could be rather stoic or aloof, or they could just be very cordial, very polite, and so it's difficult to read what they're really thinking and feeling, right? And the Prince of Cups kind of like that. It seems almost that they feel one way inside, but you can't really access that. And so that could be part of why there's all this activity. And it could boil down to really one particular person that you're trying to get through to, you're trying to impress them, or you're trying to finally somehow get a read on them, right? You're looking for the subtle facial expressions, right? The micro expressions, or anything like that that might tip you off as to how they're feeling. And again, not necessarily romantic, okay? It could be a professional person, an associate, coworker, could be a friend or family member, right? But I feel like this is there. This is a component of the situation. I don't know how strongly this is a factor for you. Maybe leave me some comments. Let me know if this is kind of what you're like snapping your fingers and saying, yeah, that's the deal right there. Because, it's not a very strong card. It's not the strongest placement there, but it is a concern of yours because, the position, fears, worries, concerns, and there's that person there. So I think you might be trying to impress that person. Now, the final card on the path of the Serpent, wonderful energy, Princess of Discs. I think this is you being absolutely successful, pulling this thing off without a hitch, and being able to then kind of, dust the flour off your apron, maybe change your clothes, sit down with everyone else, and enjoy it. And that Three of Cups is really going to come out, really going to be expressed, and this is going to be the rest of the evening. Will be just joy and pleasure and celebration, champagne or sparkling apple cider, and just a lot of laughter, a lot of good feelings. The Princess of Discs is terrific success in any endeavor. This is the complete fulfillment, not only of the physical, pulling off the physical activity, right, the physical part of it, but the emotional and the intellectual and the spiritual joy and satisfaction and abundance and pleasure that you're going to get from this. So I think it's going to have a really good ending, okay? And really, like I say, the fight of your life is coming, and I think it has to do with that fire energy, right? Not depleting yourself, but then at the same time, not stopping and putting some of that swords energy into play where you start to second guess yourself or become too self-conscious or to doubt yourself or anything like that, because that's when you're going to stumble. So go with the momentum, but also be in control of that fiery energy, know how to harness it and work your magic so that you don't run into any depletion of energy. So that's this 10 of swords, this 10 of wands doesn't cause too much trouble, okay? Like we talked about at the beginning. But now, I said I was going to make this short, and I meant it. So let's look at this confirmation card, this mystery card, bonus card, whatever you want to call it. And see, like I said, this might be the Magus, right? That would be, I think, a pretty apt card right now, pretty appropriate. Empress would be good. You know, there are a lot of cards I think that would really work in this position. But let's just get to it and see. Okay, 9 of discs, I'll take it. This is a lot of gain from this activity. So if you really are setting out to impress this person, if you really are setting out to test your boundaries and to expand your social reach, you know, those kinds of things that we talked about, you're going to gain a lot from this event, let's call it. You're going to gain a lot of connections. You're going to gain a lot of maybe information. If we're talking about this person and trying to get a read on them, I think you're going to gain a lot of insight. You're going to gain a lot of understanding and awareness of yourself and of your own energies, what you're capable of. And you're going to gain a lot of joy and pleasure celebrating with the ones you love. So I think this is really a very magical reading for you this week. I think you're going to get a lot of benefit from this. I think you're going to gain back all of this energy that you've been expending. You're going to gain a lot of knowledge of self, a lot of experience. You're going to push the boundaries. You're going to gain. There's gain. The key word here, gain. You're going to be really getting a lot out of this. It's taking a lot from you because of that 10 of Wands. It's taking a lot from you, but you're going to get a lot back too. Your investment is going to have, it's going to pay dividends, right? It's going to have a high rate of return, I think, because there are all these factors going on, right? Your control of your fiery energy, you're pushing the boundaries and looking to expand and network and extend your reach. You're wanting to celebrate your friends, your family, and experience that joy with them. And also this Prince of Cups person. Who is this person? Who is it that you're trying to maybe show off for a little bit, right? But it's going to work. I think they're going to be very, very impressed with you. Okay. Anyway, we're going to take a look in the extended just a little bit to see. Maybe we'll take a deeper look at this 9 and see maybe what some of those gains are going to specifically look like, or any other energy surrounding that sense of gaining, right? The reward, those dividends. If you want to become a member to the channel, you can click on the link down in the description box. I encourage you to do so. It's not very expensive. You know, I know we're all kind of on tight budgets these days. It really does help support the channel. If you don't want to do that, if you choose not to do that, that's completely fine. I just love the fact that you're here and you're watching this video. This is where all the magic really happens. And I thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I really do appreciate all of you watching these videos. This was your weekly tarot reading for December 18th through 24th here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. And I'll see you again.